who are on a grant from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to the International Center for Evaluation and Development, which focus on research and innovation in Africa. The purpose of this study is to be able to demonstrate, the evidence gap that comes into when we are designing infrastructures that can be gender inclusive and nutritional sensitive. What we see in Africa is that a lot of investment goes into infrastructure. The question we are asking ourselves is that, are these infrastructures leading to safe, affordable, and access to nutritious diets for women and children? And also, are they gender sensitive? And the example I just gave is that, when I was just driving last week on Kumasi Accra Road, and most of the roads here, you see that a lot of women shops, mushrooms along the roadside. And the question we ask ourselves is that when these rural roads are being constructed, do we take it into consideration that it can lead to women empowerment, it can lead to access to safe and affordable diet? These connections have not been made. So we hope that these studies will help policymakers, those who manage, design, and construct these infrastructures, to be conscious of the natural sequence that comes in the construction of these roads, so that the design, management, and implementation of this road will be gender inclusive and nutrition sensitive.
What is the duration of this study?
This is a 2-year study, and based on the evidence gap that we will do, we will try to exploit where have research been done and what are the gaps. If we identify a lot of gaps and there's a need to continue, then we will continue and make it a 5-year program with additional funding.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc, for your time.
Appreciate it very much.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll go for a short break. When we come back, Donovan West is in the studio with us to look at how African Americans can team up with the Ghanaian businessmen to promote economic development.
Almost overwhelming. I have to say that it's almost overwhelming if I didn't have my team here with me. So I have to quickly just mention, the organization FIRE, who is headed up by a Ghanaian gentleman by the name of Emil Akalaste. FIRE stands for Inspiration Reaching Everyone, Free Inspiration Reaching Everyone. And then, of course, another colleague of mine, Chandra Pitts, who represents the One Village Alliance. And they're already programming in the different schools on mentoring and other behaviors to really be prosperous here in Ghana. They're in over 240 schools. So when I say almost overwhelming, if I was here by myself, I would definitely be overwhelmed.
Great, now you run a business, Black Business Accelerator.
Yes.
What exactly do you do back home in America?
So in America, I was a person who focused a lot on advising businesses in different capacities. So my last 9 to 5, I was the president CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. And there, the first thing that I wanted to do was make sure that all the businesses that I headed which were about close to 500 businesses, that they understood that the global marketplace is the #1 place to be. Not to just stay regionally, but to think globally. As a Jamaican man, the #1 thing I thought about was the fusion of different cultures in the marketplace. And I thought that no matter where you are in the marketplace, you need to make sure you diversify. So that's what I did when I was leading the chamber. Then 2020 hit, right? That thing called COVID hit us. And it devastated most businesses, as you know, there were a lot of restrictions as to how businesses could do their business. And it really focused a great deal of energy and mind share on why. The #1 reason why is because the technical infrastructure for businesses, right? The back office support, those different components of what really makes a business thrive, they don't necessarily exist in the small business community. So I wanted to take the momentum from all the information that I learned from serving so many businesses, especially during this time, and create BBA, Black Business Accelerator.
Great. So during your tenure as the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce,
Yes,
and COVID hit, how did you navigate through these muddy waters to make sure that you stay afloat?
Well, the first thing to do is to take everyone's temperature. You need to make sure the people that you serve, that you have a good sense of where they are in that moment. And also you take the opportunity to just listen. Instead of prescribing what you know to be the solution to a certain situation, you need to listen first before you lead. You want to establish the level of trust so that people understand, especially in the crisis of this nature, that you are listening with their best interests in hand, and you want to be able to also be a part of the solution. So what I did is I touched base with them by way of phone calls, text, social media. I put together a virtual summit literally 17 days after the COVID issue hit the city and shut the city down. And then we pulled together certain thought leaders and a diaspora of people from the political space, the public space, professional space, to talk about how best to navigate during these times. As you would imagine, small businesses do not have a great deal of liquid, that is cash on hand, should any reason stop them from being able to operate their business. So I wanted to make sure that we provided the kind of services that were real-time and relevant during this time of crisis, and it involved making sure that you pull together different partners who have a trusted voice in the community so that people can respond to them in crisis. During crisis, you only respond to people that you trust. And so for the Chamber, we wanted to move from being an elected organization, right, to being an essential organization. So that means we have to connect with other people who trust the business owners so that they also can move and galvanize in a way real time and be able to also be very fluid during this very unprecedented time in our lives.
The African Continental Free Trade Area,
Yes.
Ghana is the hub.
Yeah.
Coming to Ghana as someone who is tech savvy, is business minded, what kind of leverage do you think that we can put together and then make sure that we enhance trade between Africa in particular, being Ghana on the radar, and the U.S.?
Well, you would imagine that thinking from a tech standpoint, we start thinking about what kinds of links, what types of connections can we make, and move from that standpoint. I wanted to actually offer a different perspective, and that is what kind of relationships, right? What kinds of participatory partnerships can we really develop? It's one thing to be able to have a link in Ghana and say, okay, there's a person I can call or reach out to, but what does it mean to actually have a partner in Ghana, right? That way we're both working around the clock at different times, right? Because there is actually a major time zone difference, right? But we are relevant all the time. We're extending our footprint in ways that are very meaningful. And what I'm interested in is, as an entrepreneur, I know that I work all the time as opposed to someone who works a 9 to 5, right? I need my partner to feel the same way about me. So one thing that I think we need to do is leverage these relationships. That's the reason why I had to come over in person. I can reach out to you via WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that. But when I reach out to you person to person, see, we're developing a relationship right now. And that's what's going to make it more relevant. People connecting in a way that's a lot more deeper to say, you know what, we're now partners. We're not just a link when it comes to resources or a particular source of trade, value or anything of that nature. I actually found someone of like mind, like spirit, right, who has a thirst for developing this business so that we can grow in a healthy manner and scale up to the next level of of development.
The tech space is one area that you're most interested in.
Yes.
Looking at what has happened around our part of the world, which area do you think the opportunities are that need to be exploited?
Well, one of the things I noticed as I was going through the different marketplaces, I noticed that, you know, if you don't have the exact money, right, you may be sitting there for a long time waiting for change. I also noticed that, you know, probably 90% of the places where I went, I needed to actually have cash. So a point of sale type of infrastructure that's going to be more sensitive to the vendors, the everyday vendors, the small business, the micro businesses, the micro enterprises, those that may not have the ability to take on the percentage that of a hit that they take on for accepting credit cards, but something that's going to be a little bit more efficient when it comes to that point of sale experience, so that we can increase the traffic to those areas. The smaller businesses need our attention, but more importantly, we need to have a good experience when we're shopping, so that it encourages that kind of energy throughout the year. So that's one area that I noticed from a technological standpoint. The other thought I had was that, you know, in terms of a small business, we all tend to hustle, don't we, right? We hustle, and it's important. Every individual, regardless of where you are in your career or your business, you hustle. And that's not a problem. The problem is that we do that all the time. And so when I think about the technical component of it, I think about what are some of the things that we can do to start creating collaborations, right? Partnerships within the same, you know, industries. So people who see one another as competition actually start to team up together and create a larger entity, being able to take on larger capacity, being able to actually be seen as a larger form of competition for someone else. But as they do that, they move up. And as they move up, the air gets thinner, right? The competition gets thinner, and the two of them can enjoy the fruits of that. And speaking of fruits, my mentor mentioned a long time ago, it's better to have 20% of a watermelon than to have 100% of a grape. And what I see are a lot of entrepreneurs that they want to do well and put food on the table for their families, but they have a grape. And if they would just take a moment to step back from their business and look at it from a visionary standpoint once again, connect and make these strategic partnerships, they can actually have a piece of a watermelon and be able to engage more of the community by hiring more, being of a bigger capacity, impacting their community also financially, right? And I think that's when we can start to raise the ship.
Great. Black Business Accelerator.
Yes, sir.
And you're also a member of the Jamaican Trade Council.
Yes.
What has been the impact of all these businesses that you've done on the lives of people in Jamaica?
It's devastating. As you would imagine, the government will isolate, to a certain extent, commercial businesses for, you know, hospitality, tourism to connect with. And the rest of the other businesses are starving, to be perfectly honest. And it's a travesty. And so what we need to do is think about ways to leverage the diaspora, the Caribbean, African Caribbean diaspora, to provide that level of support. Often we're looking towards the government to provide us the bailout of some sort, or the infrastructure support that is needed. And it is their responsibility. But we also have to understand that there's a responsibility to ourselves as patrons, right? As consumers, to be more intentional about where we put our money. And so we need to identify every business owner in our space, whether it's in our family, in our community, and provide them that level of support. But as it relates to COVID, the restrictions that still exist currently they're strangling our businesses. And what we need to do is we need to come together and make sure that we leverage our dollar, our economic impact on the economic, community, and focus on supporting those that look like us, that would support us in the same situation.
One Village Alliance.
Yes.
What is the concept about?
Well, One Village Alliance is headed up by Chandra Pitts. Chandra Pitts, she is someone who is actually in Delaware. That's where her main office is. But she's expanded to Africa, and she's been here for several years now, since 2018.
Wow.
And every year they come out and they do this program called Raising Kings, as also Raising Queens. The Raising Kings component is actually starting off this year, and there's a number of different activities that they're facilitating. One of those activities that they're facilitating that I'm excited about is a business roundtable. So we're going to be talking with other business owners that are here, also some that have flown in from the States to talk about how we can actually get going right now. One of the things, speaking of right now, that we're doing is from donations and other partners in the States, we're going to be kicking off a program that's going to focus on providing contextualized experience when it comes to developing a business. And what I mean by that is we have over 60,000 CDs worth of brand new clothing that we're actually going to use as the focus for young entrepreneurs to get them into thinking from a systemic standpoint. So what I mean by that is I'm talking about thinking about inventory, promotion and marketing, human resources, other components, right? Accounting, inventory, right? All these great components when it comes to starting a business, but we're going to create something that's going to be more sustainable, because that's the key word, sustainability. I'm happy to partner with One Village Alliance because they're in the same mindset. They're thinking about not just how to come here and have a presence in terms of an event, but how to actually instill,
leave a presence.
Leave a presence, but also participate in a movement. So that's the reason why they're one of our great partners.
60,000 Ghana cedis worth of new clothing.
Yes.
So is it, can you give it to me, or what exactly is it about?
Oh, no, my friend.
Okay, tell me.
So that will be used as the inventory, right? And so by way of using this inventory to actually sell, to be able to say, you know what, instead of us think about the concept, the philosophy of getting into entrepreneurism, for many people, let's be honest, where they're coming from, as they're listening to people who are talking about this, their stomach is hurting, their ribs are touching. They have challenges at home that make it hard to concentrate, to focus, because survival is first. And if survival is first, then I need to talk to you from that perspective. Okay. So instead of me talking concepts, let me put something actually in your hand. Okay. And when you see this thing in your hand and you know that, okay, I have a tool, now we're going to talk about how best to use this tool so that I can do something for myself, for my family, for my community. That's why we're excited.
So when are we going to see this rolling out?
Well, we're starting right away. We're here. We've been here since our first partner, Chandra Pitts, has been here since December 1st. And Emil Akalaste, he came in a couple of days later. I came in on the 7th. And we're not leaving until the 28th. So we're doing a number of different things right now. We're actually at a basketball court, an old field that was 25 years old. It hasn't been touched. And we've transformed it. We also have a tournament next week coming up.
As a basketball tournament?
Yes, it's a basketball tournament, also water polo and volleyball. Wow. So we're doing that as well. We have the roundtable discussion going on. We're going to be giving away some clothing. I'm hungry right now. That's the reason why I said food. But clothing and supplies, we will be giving that away. The clothes that you're talking about, no, that's going to be part of the program. But we've collected over 20 barrels of clothing and other donations from the States, and we've been shipping it. We have about a little bit over 75% of it here now, with more coming. So we're extremely excited to be able to do things in a way that's very comprehensive, very holistic, and also very relevant to the people right now. Not just talking about something that's going to be exciting for 2022. The moment is now, and so we're taking full advantage of it.
So I want to ask, what will be the venue for the Roundtable?
Oh, that's coming up. We actually had it originally at UPS, that is the University of Professional Studies, I believe. Yeah. And it was postponed. It was originally set for today, but there was some logistics challenges. So I will keep you posted, but the way that you can learn more about that is by going to the #1 Village it's at One Village. That's
at One Village.
At One Village. On Instagram, you can just follow them and they'll give the update, as well as going to Free99. That is @_free, FREE 99. You could go to those different sites, and there you will get updates on our activities while we're here.
You've been in Ghana since 7 December.
Yes.
Which of the Ghanaian food have you tasted?
Listen, my friend, we don't have enough time. Okay, I love the fish. Of course, I love the jollof rice. As a Jamaican, Ghana, Jamaica, like, who eats more rice? I don't know. I really don't know. But I love the fish. Of course, the pepper sauce. Yes.
It's spicy.
I love it. I love it. As a person, jerk chicken and all that, that's good. But then when I come here and I ask for my pepper sauce on my chicken or my fish, it's a beautiful thing.
Great to have you in the studio.
Thank you,
Donovan. We've been talking to Donovan West. He's the CEO of Black Business Accelerator from Philadelphia. And he's here to push businesses, make sure that the diaspora and the Ghanaian community, and Africa in particular, will leverage on our strengths and make sure that we push the continent forward.
That's right.
Great to have you in the studio.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My name is Edward Nyakun. God willing, we'll meet again tomorrow. Shalom.